There, welcome to another van vlog from myself, Justin, at Brickright. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the truth about landscaping. So the truth is about running your own landscaping business, and from the heart this, because I've been doing this for about 35 years. So let's dive straight into the video. So basically, for those who don't know, what is landscaping? Well, I'm a hard landscaper, which means I don't deal with plants and stuff, which is soft landscaping. So what is landscaping? So you're looking at doing a multitude of different things, and I am reading from a script here, so bear with me. So I'm doing bricklaying, fencing, patios, artificial grass, drainage, design and planning, groundworks, operating machinery, driveways, all these skills used to create workable, nice gardens for the client, right? So that's the start of it. So that's a brief rundown of what I actually do and what landscapers do up and down the UK to run their landscaping businesses. Now, bear with me because we will touch up on some important points, but for those who don't know, the setup, what's needed to run your landscaping business? Well, you're going to need a van, some tools, staff, an accountant. You're going to need to be fully insured with your public and your employer's liability, and you're going to need ongoing work and stuff like that to basically run your business. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of things now, right? What is it actually like on the job being a landscaper, right? Well, the good things about it are it is very, very rewarding, and you do get that sense of, I did that. You can stand back and think, well, I've actually achieved that, or we've actually achieved that. It's not me, it's a team. We've actually achieved that in a team. That's very, very good. Constantly learning new things, because although I've done this for 35 years, I'm constantly on the lookout to be able to learn new things and move with the times, and be able to lay the new products and use the new products that's coming out and advise the customer what these new products are and move with the times, basically. It's a very, very high skill set. A lot of people don't understand. They think landscaping is just a gardener. You mow a bit of grass and you chuck a couple of slabs down, and it's as easy as that. But I'm a bricklayer by trade, so my background is bricklaying, and bricklaying is a high skill set, but landscaping is equally a very high skill set because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of challenges. You can challenge yourself, and there's a sense of pride, which you touched on, make the customer happy with your work. So, okay, so there's some of the good points about it. What is some of the bad points about it? Some of the not so glamorous things about it? Well, there's the weather, and I'm going to elaborate on a few of these things, not just mention points, and we'll get a little bit more focused on the video as we go through it. So elements, the weather. I've been thinking, right, we've lost so much work to the weather the last year and this year as well, and that hits the pocket. It hits your schedule. It makes everything really, really difficult. Puts a lot of stresses on you as a business owner and as a boss, for many, many things, for the customer, for your schedule, as I touched on, for your earnings, for your lads, because they want to be earning, 4, 5, 6 days a week or whatever. They don't want to be working 2 or 3 days a week. So I've been trying to think of things to get over this, because I think this theme of being wet in Wales, especially, because I won't harp on about it, but Wales is the wettest part of the UK, Cardiff areas where we live. We get an absolute beating of rain here. Can we put these tin hats on like they do when I used to do extensions and stuff? We used to put the tin hats, and for people who don't know what that is scaffolding, like a cocoon of scaffolding all over the property, all over the house. Can we do that in landscaping? Can we put a tin hat somehow? I've been thinking about it, and the complication of it is that you need a base for the scaffolding to be able, the scaffolders to be able to put it up and put the tin hat on top. So where the scaffolding touches the ground is where you're going to be digging up ground as a landscaper and putting your brickwork and your patio in, that footprint of what you're trying to create. So, but surely somewhere along the line somebody could come up with, or I could come up with, an idea of tin hat in the garden. So if it does rain, then we're underneath it and we can just, crack on. Ordering materials. So that's a big thing. There's many, many things attached to you know, what's it like running your landscaping business, as it is a bricklaying business or any other business within the construction industry. Ordering materials, so you've got to be organised. You've got to know where you're ordering materials from, know how much you're paying for your materials, and hopefully, and we get this a lot going back to the elements, is we get a lot of wet materials coming on site in those wet winter and autumn months. And you know, you could have 3 dry days of work and think, right, I can crack on now. If you've got soaking wet bricks or soaking wet sand, then, or soaking wet topsoil for us, you're stuck. You've got a dry day and you can't do anything with it because they've delivered the materials and they're soaking wet. So there's another discussion for that on another day. It is physically demanding. At the moment, I'm tired, I'm worn out a little bit, I'm feeling it a bit. You're coming up to that holiday period, and we're having a holiday late. So we're going on holiday on the 18th of September for 2 weeks. For all the burglars out there, my house will be full of my children, so don't. Yeah, so we're having holiday quite late in the year. The last holiday we had was Christmas, so it's very, very, very physically demanding. I'm 51 years old, fat, grey, old and smelly, as you know, and it got an impact. It has an impact of, you know, what you can do, because currently I need a hernia operation, probably because I'm fat and my pies are poking out my stomach. But no, all seriousness to it, is it's a very physically demanding job. I got a shoulder problem. I've been told I have a new shoulder. When that's going to happen, I don't know. My shoulder's knackered. I got a bad knee, where I've been kneeling all these years. I've even got arthritis in my big toe, and I got this hernia thing going on. So, I mean, it's not stopping me. I'm still positive. I still get out there. I still do it. But I'm limited. You get limited as you get older because of the physicality of what you do. It catches up to you. I don't care how fit, and it's a good thing to keep yourself fit, but I don't care how fit you keep yourself. This job, and all you young guys will find out when you get a bit older, something will catch up with you. And I hope it don't. But, you know, a lot of the guys I know doing this trade, plasterers, they got bad elbows, bad shoulders. And you just get things attached to the repetitiveness of what you're actually doing, whether you're fit or not. So it's a big physicality. So if you're not physical, and you don't want to take the physical challenge on of doing this job, and it is a big physical challenge, then don't do it, because that's a big part of it. Mentally challenging as well, which we'll probably touch on a bit later. Staffing, you've got to organise all your staff, and that's a massive, huge thing for us. I've been lucky over the years. You've seen Brad in our videos. We had Brad for 7 years. I mean, Brad was brilliant. Still see Brad to this day. He drives to Travis Perkins. He's a lovely lad. So, you know, Brad decided to leave, and that's their prerogative, isn't it? You know, people don't stay with you forever, but 7 years, he was in the comfort zone. We trained him up. Everything was hunky-dory. All of a sudden, he leaves. You've got to fill that gap. You know, your right-hand man's gone. Fraser's now filled that gap. Fraser's my son. He's got aspirations of taking over when I'm too fat to carry on. And then, you know, we'll see what happens with his progress with that. But staffing, we've had staff come in, and what I find with taking on staff is they a lot of them tend to think they're owed a living. And I don't mean that towards Brad, because Brad was different. Me and Brad had an understanding. He scratched my back and I scratched his. He looked after me, I looked after him. He worked hard, I paid him. I looked after him. And that's the mutual respect you got to get. Don't happen all the time. You do get people who think, oh, he's paying me bloody £12 an hour. I'm getting paid £13 an hour. It's shit. I shouldn't be paid this. I deserve a lot more than this. I'll do as little as possible for as long as possible. And that hurts, because as a small business, that £12, £13 an hour is a lot of money. So getting the right people in and being able to educate them to the right standard and pay them a fair wage, and then get them give you back what you want as a business in landscaping or in any other thing, that part of it is really, really difficult. And this is all part of, you know, the truths of the running your own landscaping business or being a landscaper. Planning things. You won't be able to do anything unless you plan things. What I mean by that is, if you're going to be running your own business and you've got aspirations, maybe you're working out there and you've been working for your boss like Brad did for 7 years, and you think, oh, hang on a minute, I want a little taste of this, I can do this, I'm going to bugger off on my own, and I'm going to have a go at it. And who can blame you? You know, get on with it. Go and do it then. Stop talking about it and just be proactive and go and do it. But planning, you got to plan things out. You got to have a schedule. You got to try and stick to a schedule. You got to try and order your materials on time. Are you going to be there's no point in building the patio and then putting the brickwork in, because if you put the brickwork in, you could damage the patio. It's a lot of things like that, you know. You don't want to be putting turfing down and then walk across the turf to get to your brick wall you're going to be building. So everything's got to be planned. Everything's got to be meticulously thought out. Everything's got to be relayed to the customer. And that's a huge part. All these things are a huge part of the truth about running your own landscaping company. Schedule, we just touched on that now, didn't we? So schedule, again, is huge. What I find the last 2 years, my schedule has gone absolutely out the window, and there is no schedule because the weather is absolutely beaten us. Not only that, what you get from a lot of clients, and it's not their fault, but then it is their fault in a way, because you might say something like, well, we're doing your garden, we're going to put all this loveliness of brickwork and porcelain and fencing and everything and steps all around your garden. There's a section of turf in the middle, looks absolutely crap. Do you want that done? No, I don't. Leave it alone. Well, I think it's going to look crap, Dave. I think you need to have it done, mate. It's only going to be 800 quid compared to what you're spending. It's not a massive amount of money. Do you want it? No, don't want it. Come to the end. I want it. Right, okay, you want it. Okay. Quite often it then costs more money because you've got to bring more machines in. You've got to try and explain that to people. So that then ruins your schedule. You don't want to leave Dave down, but Dave had his opportunity. He didn't take it, but now he wants it. So what do you do? What do you say? Stuff you, Dave. I'm not having it. You've had your opportunity. Bugger off. I'm on to the next one. You can't, can you? You've got to try and help Dave out. You've got to see his predicament. You've got to try and understand that, okay, it's frustrating for you, but you've got to try and fit that in. So that cocks your schedule up. So next one. Now, we kind of been pushing on towards this, with all I'm saying is customers. Now, what I will say is the majority of customers that we choose, and I emphasize choose, because as much as they choose us to do their projects, we're choosing them to be able to work, somebody that I think that we'll be able to work with and for. That's very, very, very important. And it's very, very difficult a lot of the time to get to that, what can I say, harmony of the fact that you work just as well with your customer as your customer works with you. Now, like I say, 95% of the time, maybe a bit more, all the customers that we work for are absolutely fantastic. They're fantastic people. They're lovely people. People who I could, go around and have a cup of tea with a year later and stuff. And, we form that bond with them, and they become almost like your friends, and you want to be a friend of theirs. And, a lot of them say, we don't want you to leave, Justin. We've got on great. And that's the same for us as well. So that's very difficult to keep that 95% up to where it is. So customers is a massive, massive, huge thing in me being truthful about this video and running your own business. On the flip side to that, let me just tell you one story, right? And I'll try not to make the video long because it's already gone on for 13 minutes, but it's going to be a bit of a long one. So stay with us, because I am going to talk about money at the end of it, which is what everybody wants to talk about, right? But I'm going to tell you one of my stories, right? We worked many, many years ago for an old lady. We went up to the house and she'd just had a stroke, and my heart went out to her. I felt sorry for her. She was looking for somebody reliable, dependable, trustworthy, who could come in and do the job she wanted. And all the job was lifting up a path down the side of her house, and there was 900 by 600 50mm council slabs, we call them, horrible things. Normally I would have said, nah, don't want it, I'm off, move on to the next, it's not for us. But I felt sorry for her. I wanted to help her. So all the job was lifting those slabs up and relaying them, because Welsh Water had been in, they'd done a pipe, she told me they put scalpins underneath, MOT type 1, and they laid the slabs crap, they were rocking, and she just wanted the slabs laid. I was assured there was no base underneath. There was a base underneath it, whacked, all done recently. She just wanted the slabs laid, right? We went up there, we did it, we did the job, didn't really make a massive amount of money off it. She pulled on my heartstrings, wanted to help her, right? Legitimately wanted to help, okay? Went up there, she buggered off for the day. We lifted the slabs up, slabs were on mud, right? Okay, that's kind of not what she said. Righto then, boys. Okay, so what do we do? So she was out. I couldn't get hold of it on the phone. She was an old lady, didn't have a mobile phone. So by the time we'd lifted the slabs up and put them all to one side, cleaned them all off, she actually came back, right? So I went up to her. I can't remember her name, right? Say her name was Jill. I said, Jill, this is what's happened. Explained what had happened, that we found mud, and the way to rectify it was to put MOT Type 1 down. She very, very quickly ranted at me, called me a cowboy to my face, said that I should have known this was going to happen, said that it wasn't her fault, and I was the one that should be digging it all up, putting it in for free of charge and putting it all right. It all resulted into a bit of a row where I was trying to explain that it wasn't my fault, and it was actually her fault because she didn't tell me the right information, and we weren't willing to lay it on mud because it wasn't the right job and we wanted to do it right for it, although it was going to cost a lot of money. Cut a long story short, it turned out into a real bad row where she really called me a lot of horrible names, abused me, the lads, my business, the way I work, and just, it was horrible, right? She then called her son down on me. He ended up apologising. I ended up packing everything up in the van, not charging it for the day and going home, right? So you do get that. You do get the ugly side of it now and again, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So again, I'm telling the truth about running a landscaping business, right? Somebody's just pulled up alongside. Quoting. So I'm laughing about quoting, right? Because you've done, picture it, right? You've done your day's work. You're a guy now. You're working for your boss. You go home 9 to 5. Off you go in your house, sat there with the missus, pint of beer. Your tea's on the table. You're watching EastEnders. Happy. Well, EastEnders is shit in it. You're watching something that you like on the TV. Happy days, right? Well, I don't tend to always be able to do that because you've got to finish your work, drop your boys off, go off to the quote, right? So quoting is a massive part of it. You need to spend a lot of time when you're on quotes, going through it meticulously, showing people what's what. You might have to do 2 or 3 visits. You might have people not turning up. Doesn't happen often. You get a lot of customers that don't turn up. You get a lot of customers that are not real about their budget, and you've wasted your time. But what I will tell you about quoting, and this will save you a lot of time if you're going to be running your own landscaping business, and I've adapted to this over the years, and it's this, right? Ask questions on the phone, qualifying questions. So what I mean by that is, you want to lay out of the land, the access. You want to know if there's steps there. You want to know if you know, if they got good access, good parking for your van and storage for your materials, and can you get a digger in and stuff like that. And ask them to send you a postcode so you can Google it, get onto Google Earth and have a look for yourself, and you know the road and the access and all that kind of stuff. Then you want to ask them what job they want doing and whether it fits into your capabilities and what you can do and what you want to do. Once you've asked those qualifying questions and you get a good sense of the person is on your wavelength, you put the quote in, off you go, and you do the quote, right? Next one, communication. So communication, and I found this over the years, and we started with this because of the type of person that I am, right? And it all depends how you run your business on the type of person that you are, or what you are going to be expecting of yourself and what people expect of you. So communication when you're running any business is huge. What I mean by that is, if you're running late, people expecting you, you've worked on the job, you've been there for 2 weeks at 8 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden you think, oh, bloody hell, I got to go and get diesel. I got to go to the builder's merchants. They haven't got it in that builder's merchants. I got to go off to another builder's merchants. It's 9 o'clock now. Give the customer a little text and say, just in here, Brickright, don't panic. We are coming, just picking up a few things. We're going to be a bit late today. That goes a million miles for people because they're sat there thinking, is he coming? What's happening with him today? Where's he gone? They're looking out the window thinking, well, that's not him. Oh, what do we do? Do we hang around you for him? What's going on? You got to communicate with people. And it's not just like that for that. It's like that for everything. I find if you communicate with people at the start of the job, you talk to them about the bricklaying aspect of it. This is where the bricklaying's going to go. Spray it out. That's the height of the bricklaying. This is the bond of the bricklaying. This is the bricks. These are the bricks I recommend you choose, and all the rest of it. And you talk methodically through the job. So what happens is when the bricklaying's finished, because you've talked to them about it, they got an understanding of the job. They know then that you're conscious of doing a good job because you want to please them. You're giving them options. You may want to make the steps a bit wider. You may want to make the bricklaying a bit higher than what you thought, or a bit less than what you thought. All these things, communication, at the end mean you get a better job. So you have to communicate all the way through with every little detail. You can't communicate enough. So that, again, is some of the truths about running your own business. And there's a lot of people who run these businesses who don't communicate. And I hear a lot from people, other customers saying, Justin, you're like a breath of fresh air because you went through everything with us from start to finish. And I'm not perfect. I'm not portraying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that these hints and these tips I'm giving you are perfect. I've got humble and I've still got a hell of a lot to learn, but I'm just trying to help those who are starting out, and I'm just trying to help those who expect landscapers or anybody to come to their house and what really to expect, right? So we touched on communication, continuation of work, right? You can get so held up on a job. You start, and I do it to this day, and I'm guilty of it, right? But a lot of the time there's reasons for it. So I leave an answer phone message on my phone that may say, "Hi, Justin here from Brickright. Sorry I can't get to the call right now. If you're looking to book your working, we are booked up until May 2024. If that interests you, please leave a message after the tone and I will return your call as soon as possible," right? So you try to tell people on the phone when you're booked up to, because a lot of the time, and I'm saying about communication and continuation of work, right, but there's a balance, because a lot of the time you answer the phone and it'll be, "Hi there, my name's Bill. I'm looking for a quote for some work. Can you come out and give me a quote, please?" "Hi Bill, my name's Justin. Thanks for calling. Could you tell me what the work is, please?" Bill then will take 5 minutes explaining his work, and a lot of the time they go off onto a tangent as to why they want the work, and Rita wants it done because she's got a bad leg and the dog's tripping down the steps. So you've got to listen to all it, and it's not their fault. I'm not having a go, but this is just what you get, right? This is what happens, okay? So they then tell you the full picture of it. You're into 7 minutes now on the telephone, right? Then you get to the nitty gritty of it. "Right, Bill, okay, the job is of interest to me. It's January now. We can't get to you until October to do your job. Is that something that is of interest to you?" The bombshell. "I don't really want to wait that long, Justin. We were hoping to get something done for the summer. We were hoping to get it started around about May." "Oh, I'm sorry, Bill, that can't happen. We're booked up until, well, whatever I said, September, October. If you're not prepared to wait until then I can't help you." "Oh, okay, thanks very much. We'll leave it." So you've just lost 10 minutes, 15 minutes of production where your lads are standing there maybe thinking, "Well, I'm waiting for them to tell me what to do," or, they got a mix out or something and you can't use it. Mix is going off. You're on the phone. If you take 6 of those phone calls a day, well, then you've lost an hour a day of your work, haven't you? By the time you get to the end of the week, you've lost 5 hours. You've lost the best portion of a day waffling to people on the telephone. So I'm not saying I never answer my phone, because I do try to answer my phone. But if I'm busy or I'm talking to a customer, it does go to the answer phone message and it does tell you that information. So if people are interested, they can leave the message on there knowing full well what I'm booked up to. So there's a bit of a tip from you, and I've also written down here as well, and I'm trying to be truthful. Continuation of work, and what I always say about that, this job is a roller coaster ride of death, right? And that's the way I put it, because what goes up must come down, okay? So when you've got the affluent times, like just after COVID, everyone's thinking, right, I haven't been away, I haven't bought a car, I haven't been able to do this, I haven't been out for meals, I got loads of expenditure, in my pocket. I want a garden. I want to be able to get out there. We were out there a lot in COVID, and good times. You got that prosperous time. The roller coaster's going up and up and up and up and up and up. Your phone's ringing. You're out. You're pricing and pricing. You've got a year's worth of bookings. That roller coaster has reached the top. It's reached the top, right? What goes up must come down. This is why I call it the roller coaster ride of death, because this job and the continuation of work will go up and down, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to go down. You don't know when it's going to go up. You haven't got a clue. So you just got to try and read the market and try your best to keep that work coming in, along with doing everything else that I've already mentioned. So if you're going to be doing this, being a boss, right, which is what you are, if you're running your own landscaping business, it's being a boss, right? There is 100% a multitude of many things that I've probably left out on you that you're going to be doing. You are going to be, if you're conscious like me and you want to do a good job for yourself, your team, your business, your brand, your name, and your customer, then you kind of eat, drink, sleep your job. And that's difficult to switch off from. So what I mean by that is, you've done your day's work, you've done your quote, you get home, you've talked to Rita up there, she's got told you exactly what she wants, it's all written down in your book, you've got that quote to work out on the weekend or whenever you can fit it in, and sometimes you can't fit it in. It's really difficult. You work a lot of hours and you sit there, and even in the night, I'm thinking, you get a lot of times you're thinking, is he going to be in tomorrow? You know, can I rely on him tomorrow? I got concrete coming. I need 2 on the wheelbarrow. I need to be laying it. If he don't come in tomorrow, I'm in the bloody poop. Is he going to turn up tomorrow? So you're worried about that. Could be 2 o'clock in the morning. You open your eyes and think, oh, is Dave going to be in tomorrow? And you start dwelling on it. Then your brain starts going off into a tangent about the concrete. If I put the concrete in right, it's in the right place. And you start going over these things as a boss in the night when you're asleep, or when you wake up and you go for a bloody wee or something, you go for a tinkle, and on your way back, and boom, there it comes, pops in you, and you think, oh no, please, not tonight, leave me alone, I want to go to sleep. But that's what being a boss is. It can, and it does to a certain extent, consume you. Now, because of all these things that I'm saying, I'm leading on to the fact that, is it worth it, right? Now, another thing of being a boss, you got to do everything. You've got to be able to, your accountancy, you've got to have an accountant set up there for you. You've got to be able to do your books. All these things I'm talking to you about come into into your job description. If there's an issue on site, if there's a delivery that's gone wonky, you got to try and sort that out. If your van's costing you 300 or 400 quid because it's failed the MOT, you got to sort that out. If you've got to buy a new van because it's at the end of the line, you got to sort that out. Do you spend 12 grand on a van? Has the business got enough money in the pot to be able to spend on a new van? Do you go out and lease a van? So there's all these things behind the scenes, apart from doing the day-to-day running and your quoting and your staffing and you're getting in work and all the rest of it. There's a lot behind the scenes. Have I paid my public liability insurance? I think my public liability insurance combined with my employer's liability insurance at the moment is £800 a year. So you've got to try and manage the expectation as well for your client, because what I'm finding quite difficult at the moment, and I'm moving on to, is it worth it? The pay, the earning side of it. And let's just get straight into it, right? Let's just get straight into it. Is it worth it? From a satisfaction point of view, I love the job. I do love the job. I've been doing it for 35 years. As I say, my background is bricklaying. Bricklaying can be a little bit tedious at times, especially when I was on price work and you're building the boxes and you've got your profiles up and you're slamming bricks in. And you get sick of looking at bricks, sick of looking at mortar, jointing bars and stuff because you're slamming. But do I still have a passion for bricklaying? Yeah, I think I absolutely do. I mean, that I think above everything is what I am. I'm still grounded as a bricklayer. I'm proud to be a bricklayer, and I'm proud to have done the job and the trade, and I think there's some fantastic quality people in it, and I'm blithering now, so let's get back to topic. So I do have a satisfaction in what I do. From an earnings point of view, right, there's two ways to look at this, okay? So if you're working privately in the private sector, i.e. you're working at number 26, Let's Be Avenue, for Mr. and Mrs. Jones, then let's talk about that for a moment. So you could average out as an earnings anywhere, and I mean this, I'm not just being stupid, anywhere from, there's a guy out there picking bloody blackberries. There's you can earn from £25,000 a year as a landscaper to, there's no blackberries on the front of my van, mate. You can earn £25,000 as a landscaper, or you can earn up to £50,000 as a landscaper. If you earn more than £50,000 as a landscaper, please leave that in the comments below. Why is it 25? Why is it 50? Right? There's a lot of things that can contribute to what you're earning as a landscaper or a bricklayer, plasterer, whatever. Effort is the first thing. Communication and all those things I just spoke to you about have a big emphasis on how much that you can actually earn in each job that you do. And we're talking about landscaping at the moment, right? So if you put all the effort into it and you tick all these boxes, you will get the continuation of work because you're proud and because you're honest and you're reliable and you communicate well, right? So all these things will give you the potential to earn more money because people will want you for what you are and how you run your business, right? If you just go into it half-heartedly and you think, I'm going to go to the pub on a Friday, I can't be asked with this, I can't be asked turning up for the quote, I'm not going to tell her I'm running late, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, and you leave a lot of these important key points out, you probably won't even earn the £25,000, right? Quite often in the winter months, and it depends how much it rains, you're earning a pile of crap. Quite often in the summer months, you're out there and it's too hot. So a lot of people don't think, oh, it's great working outside, Justin, you must be loving this. It's 32 degrees at the moment. You try laying bricks in 32 bloody degrees. And when you're fat like me, it's bloody hard graft. It really is. So I would say in my 35 years experience, you only get what you put in. And I put an awful lot in, right? And I'm still learning and I'm still trying to improve. And I think that is the biggest thing that my advice for you out there, whatever amount of money you're earning in the business, if you're looking to start out, leaving your boss on your own, it's the amount of effort that you actually put in to running your business, which will dictate of how much money you actually earn. I'm on about all the things behind the scenes. I'm on about all the things that matter. And I'm on about all the things physically that you do and organise on site will contribute to how much money you actually make. Okay? Right then, the second part of landscaping, you could be working commercially. Right? You could be working commercially. Now, I don't work commercially. I work domestically, right? Now, I've worked commercially before on price work, subcontracting out on site. The earning potential commercially, I think, is a lot more than the earning potential domestically. Now, why do I think that? Okay, so say you've got a contract for your local council, or say you got a local contract cutting the grass around Sainsbury's or something like that, right? They're charging VAT, you charge VAT. No, Mr. and Mrs. Jones don't like paying VAT, right? Now, let's get this clear about VAT, right? In the commercial sector, it's expected. What goes round comes around. You charge VAT, I charge VAT, he claims VAT, you charge it, I charge it. And it just goes round in an expected vicious circle, right? You go to Mrs. Jones and you've got to write the VAT legally on your documentation, the 20% VAT. And most of the customers, 80-90% of the customers, accept your price for what it is, and they don't mention the VAT, right? But I think the VAT is a stinging point, because I think everybody should be VAT registered from the start. Never mind 85,000 and then VAT registered. I think everybody should be VAT registered. So it's an even playing field for everybody working in the domestic sector of the construction industry, right? That's just what I think, okay? So they don't like, some of them don't like paying VAT. Can you do it for cash, Justin? No, I can't. Can't hide cash under the bed. Don't want to do things illegitimately. Cash is not really king in this day and age anymore. You've got to pay for your builders materials, you've got to pay your boys, you've got to pay you've got to pay for your van, your diesel, your tools. How do you pay for cash out of all that? It's difficult, isn't it? So, VAT. If you go buy a new car, or you go buy, well, maybe not so much a new car, but if you go and buy anything from Tesco's or B&Q, or you buy anything at all that's VAT chargeable, nobody moans about the VAT. As soon as it's a builder going in, why have you got to pay VAT? And it's this stigma of, why have I got to pay VAT? Well, you've got to pay VAT because it's legal. But I do find that as a little bit of a snagging point sometimes. Commercially, I think the earning potential, to be a landscaper. So if you wanted to do it commercially, maybe you're slabbing a town centre, or, maybe you are slabbing, or you're doing some landscaping work around an office block or something like that, or an industrial estate or something like that. You've got a contract all over the country or whatever to do that, right? Maybe that the earning potential for that is more because of what I just said. I find a lot of the time, and I'm again now, right, this is a video about truths. A lot of the time, say you got extras on the go, or say you got a flow pointing job on the go, right? And I've just had this, okay? We just had this, and I don't want to slander anybody, because these people I'm talking about, and if you're watching, they're very, very nice people, and they got their prerogative to decide whether they want me to do the job or not. So let's just get that clear. I've got not a problem with the fact that they didn't want us to do it, okay? So this is what happened. Went there on the job, flow pointed. Seen that you do the flow pointing, Justin. Okay, well, we'll have to charge you a day rate, right? So I'm gonna tell you what we put in for the day rate. I'm gonna be honest, right? So we put in 450 quid per day for me and Fraser to go down there and do the flow pointing. So what are they paying for? They're paying for all the information I just gave you. I know how to do flow pointing because I've looked it up and I've tried it and I've tested it and I've done it, right? So they're paying for that. They're paying for all the things I mentioned to you in what I'm talking about. And, you know, they've obviously seen the videos and they know what we're going to get. What happens is people tend to fall over and think to themselves, shit, £450 a day? Oh, he's taking a while. It's too much money, right? And everyone's got their own prerogative to whether they decide that's too much money, or whether it's not enough money, right? And you get to decide as a customer whether you want us to do the job or not, right? But if you're running a legitimate business like a landscaping company on the domestic side of things, right, and you're doing it right, and there's no stuff that you're doing that's illegal, right? So you've got your public liability insurance, you've got your van insured, you've got your van taxed, you pay your tax, you pay your national insurance, you pay your boys sick pay, you pay them on the books, you do everything properly, legitimately, everything's right. You've got all the up-to-date tools and everything, you've got everything, all your kit to be able to do the job, hands down, which is why they've chosen you to do the job in the first place, because they know they're going to get a good job out of you because of who you are, what you've got, your knowledge and everything on what you do, right? So when it comes to the payment side of it, a lot of people get to that bit and they go, hang on a minute, ooh, no, and they don't see past the fact that you're not earning that. We're not earning the £225 a day each, right? £225 a day each, working domestically, I think is a fair price. I know a lot of bricklayers are charged £300 a day, and on some jobs you may be able to charge a little bit more, you may be able to charge a little bit less, right? So it was too expensive and they decided to back out of it, and that's absolutely fine. No problem at all. But I ask you, right? Ask you, if you're a customer watching this, or you're somebody looking to start your business up, do you think that's too much? You look at how much you got to pay, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head of what I pay per week or per month or whatever, or per year, for all these things added up into a whole figure at this present time without looking in my paperwork, right? So you've got to pay your business costs first, right? Then every business that's in the UK, every business that's in the world has to earn profit, okay? So what I mean by that is you pay your business costs, that's in one kitty. You pay your wages, that's in another kitty. And then in another kitty, you earn profit. So you have to earn a profit as a business, because if you don't, then you're not a business. There's no point in you working. Tesco, whoops, made you fall over then. Tesco earn a profit. Everybody tries to earn a profit in business. And I've been guilty over the years for just putting in business costs and wages and leaving the profit. And I'm still guilty of it now. But it's still too much money for some people to pay. But anyway, I'll leave you with that one. That was just an example, right? So what are the ingredients of running your own business successfully, right? Now, am I qualified to even give you the information on this? Well, I've been running my business for about 15 years. I've been doing this for 35 years, right? I'm not a finished article. I'm still learning, as I keep saying, right? And I'm humble about that. I will look to anybody, whether they're 16 years old, up to 70, 80, whatever years old. If anybody's got something that they want to share with me that helps me, I'm willing to listen to it, okay? So I'm a little bit qualified to be able to give you some of my experiences, but I'm not fully qualified to give you all my experiences and for you to act upon them. But hopefully they help. So my opinion are the ingredients for running a successful business, right? And this is what I've done from the start. And this is partly to do with my mum, my dad, and my grandparents as my upbringing, okay? Of the type of person who I am, right? So I run my business with honesty, okay? Integrity. I try to give the maximum quality that I possibly can. And a lot of times I over-engineer things. You know, if I've put on the quote that the foundation is 150 mil, quite often I'll put 200 million. Now that's just me being bloody stupid. And I'm not a very good businessman because I'm not earning money off that, am I? But I just like to do things in a quality way, because I don't like the phone ringing or people phoning me back or any comebacks, because they cost even more money then, don't they? Communication is the other one we've touched on. Education, right? We've touched on that a little bit as well. God, they're all picking bloody blackberries around here, aren't they? Education is another one. So I'll give you an example, right? I went on 43 minutes now. If you're still here, well done. Education. So somebody phoned me up and said, can you lay porcelain a couple of years ago? I said, no, I can't. Don't know how to do it. Like, didn't I? Shit myself. You know, can you lay porcelain? No. Then I thought, well, hang on a minute. There's more and more people asking me to lay porcelain. How do I lay porcelain? So I went away and I spent weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks educating myself to the best I could about cutting it, blades, you know, everything to do with being able to lay porcelain. And it's the same principle as laying any slab or tile, but there's a bit different because porcelain, well, we won't go into that, but I educated myself, right? So when somebody said to me, hi, my name's Mary, can you come round? I want a porcelain patio to do. Can you do that? Yep, no problem, Mary. We'll be around 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. See you then. Thank you very much. Ta-ra. Right? So you have to educate yourself and you have to move with the times and you have to keep yourself updated with everything that's going on in the modern world. And I was guilty of being a bit of an old git, miserable old fart that didn't go on social media, and I'm still guilty of not going on social media an awful lot now, apart from the YouTube. So get on your socials and you know, start spreading the word of who you are and what you do. Fitness. So you have to remain fit, okay? I'm noticing now, like I keep saying, I'm coming up, I'm 51. I'm noticing I just can't do the things I used to do. I still keep trying to do the things I used to do. And then you end up with a hernia or a bad shoulder or something like I've got. So there's a management when you're young, don't go gung-ho, but remain fit, eat the right stuff, and sleep well, and you'll be waking up in the next day ready to do your job and have your little blowout on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and get ready again for Monday. So you have to keep fit, you have to keep your body in shape and stuff. And I'm just a fat old git, and who am I to say, because I'm just fat, miserable and smelly and old. But there we are, that's my opinion. You have to stay fit. Knowledge, we kind of touched on now with our education. Another ingredient is team. God, I've talked. Teamwork, self-explanatory in it. I can't do none of this without Fraser or without Brad previously, or mention a few others, Dan and Joe over the years, and Carl, all the ones I've had that were brilliant to me, and I respected them a lot, like sons in a way. And Dan, who used to work for me many years ago, is doing something for me coming up, which you may see. So yeah, I still talk to these lads. So team, you can tell we was in a good team, weren't we? Because they've moved on for years, and I still speak to him. I still talk to him a lot. So team is a huge, huge thing. The respect of a boss and the respect of your team goes hand in hand. And without those two ingredients, you will not have success. So team is huge. And another thing is you've got to enjoy it. You've got to have a passion for it, because if you haven't got enjoyment out of what you do and you haven't got a passion for it, and it can be hard when you've got an awkward customer, or you've got a delivery that's gone pear-shaped, or you've got the rain pouring down and you think the world's ended, and you're looking at your bank balance, and you look at your mate next to you and you think, oh Jesus, why have we come to work to this? Is terrible. And it rains for a week and it becomes depressing. Ultimately, you have to get over that and you have to enjoy it. So yeah, they're the things I think you need for the ingredients for success. I am going to shut up now and stop waffling. If you're still here and you've lasted to the end, well done. So these are the truths of landscaping from my personal experiences over 35 years of doing various different jobs in the landscaping industry. Being a boss of all these things is very, very difficult, and bosses out there, you'll understand where I'm coming from, and customers out there, consumers out there, I hope it gives you a little bit of an insight as to, if you want to employ somebody like Brickright, it gives you a bit of an insight of what goes in to your project, to your extension, to your garden, to your wall, to your fence, to whatever we're doing, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it to be able to give you the quality that we do. And that pays, doesn't it? If you want to go, if you've got to commute back and forth to London every single day, and you buy a £1,000 car with 180,000 miles on it to go back and forth to London throughout the course of your working year, you might get there the majority of times, but there's going to be a lot of time where you're going to be broken down on the M4 thinking, why the bloody hell have I bought this pile of crap? Why didn't I spend a little bit more money? And it's exactly the same in the building industry. There are companies out there who you can pay for that are lower down the pecking order, and you'll pay for that and you'll get that. And you can pay for companies who are middle of the road, or you can pay for companies who are top end and trying everything they possibly can to give you the best job. You're going to pay for that. So I hope that it's given customers and consumers out there a bit of an insight as to what we do and how we do it and why we do it. So with that, I'm going to end the video. If you've got anything to add with your experiences as a boss, as somebody who works for somebody, maybe your boss is a bit unfair or something, or if you're a consumer and you've had some good experiences with companies, let's see people leaving comments below of companies they've had working for them in the building industry that have been good, because I know there's loads out there and they don't get talked about. If something's good, somebody says no, people say nothing. If somebody's bad, people say everything. And I think it's about time that if people do a good job and they bend over backwards like a lot of us do, and I know loads in the trade that are really decent, good, honourable people, and they don't get the you know, the thanks and the credit that they deserve. So anyway, hope the video's helped you. Sorry for blithering. I will be doing another video coming up very, very soon. We've been a bit quiet on jointing a porcelain patio with tile grout this time. So stay out and look out for that one. Until then, take care. See you on the next one. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, see you on the next one. Cheers.